Hey guys, welcome back to my channel, Math by Isaac. Hope you guys have been doing well. If this is your first time here, welcome to the channel. Here at Math by Isaac, we deconstruct problems and solve them in the easiest way possible. My goal really for this channel is to be able to reach out to as many children as possible to help them with their math problems and make it easier for everyone to understand math. So for some of you that may know me, you know I'm a huge Rockets fan, and the Rockets won yesterday, so you know I had to cop the Rockets shirt. Yeah. So anyway, today I'm going to be doing part 2, which is the final part of the 2-part series on algebraic equations. So let me quickly take a step back into what we did in the last video. So in the last video, we just went over what an equation was and how to find x given if it's on one side of the equation. So in this video, part 2, we're going to be going over some more advanced equations involving x, which is on both sides, and we're just going to find out how to solve it. Let's get started. Right before we dive into these two equations right here, just another quick reminder that this is a 2-part series. So if this is your first time here, make sure you go and check out part 1 so you can grasp a better understanding of finding x and solving algebraic equations. So let's get started here. So the first equation we have is negative 2x minus 8 is equal to 4. So you might be wondering what's difficult about this. Well, most students tend to forget about the negative sign. And the negative sign is a huge factor in solving algebraic equations, especially when it's given. So let's get started. So our first thing to do in isolating x is to get rid of negative 8. And how do we do that? By the reciprocal, which is adding 8. So the reciprocal is basically just doing the opposite of what is given. So we have plus 8 on both sides. Now we have 4 plus 8 is 12, which is equal to negative 2x. Now that we have negative 2x is equal to 12, we have to divide by everything else to the left of x. So we have negative 2. We're not dividing by 2, we're divided by negative 2. After we do that, we get x is equal to 12 divided by negative 2 is negative 6. Box your answer and check just to be sure. Always check your answer because, of course, it's a longer process, yes, but you're certified and you just know that your answer is correct. Negative 2x minus 8 is equal to 4. But now we can substitute this x for our answer here, which is negative 6. So we have, put in parentheses, negative 6 times negative 2 is going to give us 12 minus 8 is going to be equal to 4. 12 minus 8 is 4. Oops. Alright, 4, which is equal to 4. So we know that this equation is correct. Now let's move to the more hard-looking question. Now, long questions like this tend to look hard, but as soon as you narrow it down to a couple of numbers, it's as easy as regular algebraic equations like we saw in part 1. So let's get started. So we have 4x minus 5 is equal to negative 2x plus 19. So you might be wondering, what do I do first? Well, what I like to do first is to get both variables together on one side of the equation. So I'd like to take this negative 2x here. So how do I do that? Well, we're going to have to cancel it from this side and bring it here. So we can do the reciprocal, as I said before, plus 2x on both sides. So now we have 6x on this side minus 5 is going to be equal to since these two cancel out, we don't have them anymore, so it's 0. So all we have left is a positive 19, which is equal to 19. Now we have a simpler algebraic equation. So now we can take 5 from this side and bring it here. So we have plus 5 on both sides, plus 5. We get 24. Sorry guys, I'm running out of space. 6x is equal to 24. Let's bring this here. So now we have 6x is equal to 24. We divide both sides by 6. Let's bring it by 6. So now that we have this set up, 24 divided by 6 is 4. So now we have x is equal to 4. Of course, as always, I like to check over my answers to make sure that they're correct. So we can bring it to this side. So we have 4x, remember x is equal to 4. So we can simply substitute x for 4. 4 times 4 minus 5 is equal to negative 2. Don't forget that negative sign. Times 4 plus 19. So if you think you can solve this, you can pause it and go ahead and solve it. But in other words, let's dig in. So we have 4 times 4, which is 16. 16 minus 5, which is equal to, now we have a negative 2 times 4, which is going to give us negative 8 plus 19. Now this is as simple as elementary. So 16 minus 5 is 11. Let's just get this over with. So now we have negative 8 plus 19. Now for some of the younger grades online that are watching this may seem or look like a hard question, but if you rearrange some of these numbers, they look really easy. So we have a negative 8, so we can bring that to this side. We could just basically switch it. And we have a plus 19. This plus also means that this 19 is positive. So we could bring it to this side. 19 minus 8. Now we have a much simpler problem. So now we have 19 minus 8, which is 11. And 11 is equal to 11. So therefore, this question is correct. Alright y'all, so let's Euro step into this equation. Alright guys, so we have these two equations right here. We have x divided by 3 is equal to 27 divided by 3. Here at the bottom we have x divided by 4 minus 8 is equal to 4 times 3 minus 4. So let's start off with the top question. Now remember guys, don't let the length of the question or its rigor disappoint you, or don't let it bring you down, because as long as you break these questions down into smaller bits, you have smaller questions or smaller problems to work with. So don't let the difficulty of the question bring you low. Alright guys, so let's start off with this question. We have x divided by 3 is equal to 27 divided by 3. So you might be asking, how do I get this x by itself? Well, we're working with reciprocals, so meaning opposite. So whenever you're working with x combined to something, just think, what is the opposite of what x is combined to? So x is being divided by 3. So what's the opposite of dividing by 3? Multiplying by 3. But how do I multiply a whole number with the fraction? So just a quick side note, whenever you're dealing with something like this, if you want to multiply a whole number by a fraction, always put it over 1. That whole number, put it over 1, and you have yourself a temporary fraction, as I like to call it. So now we have 3 over 1 times x divided by 3. So these 3's cancel each other out, leaving us with x. So we have x, but we're not done yet, because whatever we do to one side, we always have to do it to the other. So now we have parentheses here because we're multiplying this whole side by 3. So we have 3 there. So now we bring everything down. X is equal to parentheses 27 divided by 3 times 3. So 27 divided by 3 is 9 times 3 is equal to X. 9 times 3 is 27. So we have 27 is equal to X. There we have it. X is equal to 27, and we can plug this in to make sure it works. So we have X over 3, but we don't need that X since we have 27. We have 27 divided by 3 is going to be equal to 27 divided by 3. Now the funny part about this equation is that both sides are the same. So you don't even have to do that much checking because we already know that 27 divided by 3 is the same thing as 27 divided by 3. But just for my people that like to make sure that the answer is correct, we can simplify both sides. 27 divided by 3 is 9, which is equal to 27 divided by 3, again, is 9. So we have 9 is equal to 9. So therefore this answer, X is equal to 27, is correct. Alright guys, so next we have this equation, X divided by 4 minus 8 is going to be equal to 4 times 3 minus 4. So again guys, let's break these questions down into smaller sizes. I think a problem that most of us face is that our mindset is off. We see a long problem and automatically we're just like, I don't think I can solve it. Don't think that way. Always think you can do this. So we can do this. Alright, so let's break this problem into a smaller size. So we have X divided by 4 minus 8 is equal to 4 times 3 minus 4. Automatically my eyes move to this 4 times 3 because it's not simplified. So we can bring this down to 12 since 4 times 3 is 12 minus 4. Bring everything else down. We have 8 minus X divided by 4. So now we're set. But of course this isn't simplified all the way as well. So we can bring this down even more. So now we have 12 minus 4 is 8. Bring everything else down. We have 8 minus X over 4. So now, doesn't this look a little bit simpler than before? So now all we have to do is just get X by itself, which we've already done at the top. So if you think you can do this, pause it right here and try to solve X divided by 4 minus 8 is equal to 8. Alright, so assuming you've paused it and tried it, let's move on. So now we have minus 8. We can do the reciprocal, which is the opposite. Add 8 to both sides. Now we're left with 16 is going to be equal to X over 4. So now that we have X over 4, remember, all we have to do is find the opposite of divided by 4, which is going to be multiplied by 4. Now we put 4 over 1. So these cancel out. Multiply this by 4. Now we have, let's bring our work here. We get X is equal to 64. Box your answer. X is equal to 64. Now let's move it over here to this side. Now we can solve this equation since we have what X is equal to. So we're going to have 64 over 4 minus 8 is going to be equal to 4 times 3 minus 4. So again, if you think you can solve this, go ahead and solve it. In other words, let's move on. So 64 divided by 4, we know is 16. That down, minus 8 is going to be equal to 4 times 3. We already know that is 12. 12 minus 4. Now we just solve. 16 minus 8 is 8. And 12 minus 4 is also 8. Therefore, we know that this question right here, x divided by 4 minus 8, which is equal to 4 times 3 minus 4, we know that x is equal to 64. So in case you want to copy any of the work, now's your time. Alright y'all, so that's the end of the video. I hope you enjoyed it. This was an end to the two-part series of algebraic equations. Hope you enjoyed it. Hope you learned something new. Just to recap, we just went over isolating x in a number of more advanced situations. Make sure you give it a thumbs up, subscribe if you're new, put on your post notifications so you get a notification every time I upload a new video. Make sure you share it to whoever this may help, especially my incoming freshmen or 8th graders taking advanced classes. Hope you guys really enjoyed it. As always, stay safe, and just another quick reminder, don't let any situation determine your outcome, okay? You do your best to break it down, solve it, and this doesn't just deal with math, it deals with everything in the world. So make sure you break it down, solve it as best as you can, and you can come out victorious. Alright y'all, stay safe, God bless.